Hey everyone, whether you're just starting out with Java or you've been coding for a little bit, I've been coding for a little bit myself, and these are 10 tips and tricks that have helped me, along with some do's and don'ts that have helped me. Again, this is all subjective, so maybe you agree with everything, maybe you don't, maybe you're already using everything, maybe you've never heard of any of it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these 10 tips and tricks. Starting out here, I want to start out with something very simple, and that's just printing something out, which I think a lot of us do on a very regular basis in Java. So instead of saying system.out.println or printf or just print, whatever you want to do, in IntelliJ, for example, you can just type in sout and then hit tab, and it auto prints it for you. So it completes this for you. No, there's no, GitHub Copilot needed at all. It's just kind of a built-in functionality. The next step here are ternary operators. They're a great way to shorten your if-else statements. So these two things will do the same exact thing. So if 3 is less than 4, we print out 3 is less than 4, else 3 is not less than 4. Not this would ever be the case, but this is kind of a very simple to show you how it works deal. So if this evaluates to true, we print out this. If this is not true, then we print out this. The ternary operator here, we do 3 less than 4 as our condition. This question mark here is what's known as a ternary operator. And if whatever this evaluates is true, we say 3 is less than 4. If it's false, we say 3 is not less than 4. So both of these do the same exact thing, except this is kind of just shorthand for this big if-else statement. Now if we go ahead and run this code, hit the play button up here, we run it, we can see that 3 is less than 4. The same thing is printed out both times. Next up on the list are enhanced for loops. As I can think about them. So here, let's pretend we have a array list here. Well, let's not pretend because we actually have one here. And we're generating an integer array list. I made a little method down here. Just ignore it. Just generating a random array list. That's not important to this tip. So here we have our normal for loop. This is where you'll see everywhere. You probably taught this in classes, whatever. You have your int I equal to 0, I less than the size of your array. In this case, the size is 7. And then we increment I from there. And then from there, we can print out our integer array list at the certain index I. So we can either do it this way, or we can do it this way, and they do the exact same thing. They will function the exact same way. So let's go ahead and just show you how. So here is, let's go ahead and print out something new. And then we can just do a /n here to make sure we have a lot of separation here. /n is new line. That's another just free tip in there for you. So if we go ahead and run this code, let it build out, you'll see that if we open this up here, we have negative this number, this number, this number. And we come down here and does the exact same thing, prints out the exact same numbers in the exact same order. I can tell by this our separation here. So they do the exact same thing. So this is kind of again another shorthand, easier to read version, I think, of this. There's not many reasons that you would use this format over this one, unless you want to do some like super precise, maybe sorting or maybe searching, things like that. Maybe that's when you'd probably want to do it. But other than that, I would usually recommend using this. Tip number 4 on our list here are streams. So it's again in the same vein as for loops. So see here, we have our basic for loop again with our, separating print statement here. And then also we have an integer array list. So we're taking the same list, we're streaming it, which is pretty much just looping through it. And then we're telling Java for each of these, print out I. So if we go ahead and run this, you can see we again get the same output we got last time. So again, just printing things out in the same exact order, doing the same exact thing. Another bonus tip here is that streams can use another thing. So instead of using stream, we can use parallel stream. And it pretty much does exactly what it kind of sounds like. It does them all kind of at once, or as many as it can at once. So using just normal stream will do one at a time. Parallel stream can do multiple at a time. And to demonstrate that, we can go ahead and run this code. As you can see here, all the same numbers are here. However, they're in different orders. It depends on, whatever your processor got to first. So in this case, it's this number's first, but in our case, it's here. But you see we have this number here. It's also down here. Tip number 5 is method reference. So as you can see here, IntelliJ is underlining this in yellow, and it says you can replace that. So what we want to do here is you come up here and just hit replace lambda with method reference. And now we have system.out : print, move that over, print line. So basically what this does is we're going to call a static method here. Call a static method, and we'll pass that, pass a parameter of anything else we would pass in this parallel stream. That sounds kind of confusing, but this system.out.println is the same thing as saying taking this I variable and telling system.out.println and passing it I. They both do the same exact thing. They're just written a little bit differently. So if we go ahead and turn this back to a normal stream so it's easier to see, and then go ahead and run this, you'll see that again, we are printing out the same exact thing and doing things in the same exact order. And again, that is method reference. Tip number 6 has to do with string formatting. One minor change compared to previous tips is instead of using println, we're now using printf. That is required for this. So both of these things are going to go through our array list here and print out every number in them. However, as you can see, we do that a little bit differently for each one. Here, what you've probably seen before is number, and I leave a space here, and then plus integer. So in this case, it's going to be, the number will be whatever is in that list. And here, again, it's the same exact thing. We're doing number, %s, and then having a marker here, and then an integer here to specify that we want it to go in here. We go ahead and run this. You can see that these numbers, they do look a little weird, which is my bad. We should probably format this a little bit better. So if I do /n on the thing here, and here we'll have to go and do +/n for it to keep the same format. So we go ahead and run this. As you can see here, we have everything is the same way. So this number, that, this, that, it's all very much the same thing here. And you can already kind of see the advantages of using this annotation, this notation, I guess, if you want to call it, over this, because here you have to like do number, and then I want to, hey, then add on this string, and then, hey, I want to add a new line, add this string. In this case, it's just, hey, do whatever you want here, and then you can pass in your number after the fact, and that's notated by this %s. When you have this %s in here, and then pass in whatever you want to pass in there, it'll get imported or placed wherever this %s is. Tip number 7 has to do with equals operator and strings specifically. All of this does kind of apply to a lot of other objects as well, custom objects and things like that. So let's say you have two strings here that are both the same. That could be whatever, but in this case, they're both the same. If we print out string 1 equals string 2, and we can print out string 1 dot equals string 2. So if we go ahead and run this, you'll see they both evaluate to true. However, it is best practice to use the dot equals on the string and not the equals. Sometimes they get things a little bit mixed up, but it won't evaluate precisely to what you're expecting. It's just good practice to use dot equals, and it'll probably save you a headache or two down the road. Tip number 8, we are back to streams, and honestly, you can make an entire hour-long video on streams. They are super, super powerful. Highly recommend looking into them on your own time as well. However, another super powerful thing about streams is we're going to combine some things we've previously learned. So we're going to combine parallel stream, and we're combining the for each with the method reference here. However, we're going to tack on here the filter. The filter is something I think warrants its own special tip, which is why we're here. So we're going to filter here. We go through the entire array list, and then we're going to filter any item in that list where it's even, which is what this I %2 equals 0 means. So anywhere where the number is even, we'll go ahead and print that out. So we go ahead and run this. You can see here we print out this number, that number, and this number. And I've gone ahead and updated the code here so we can compare both of these side by side, which reminds me I need to go ahead and add our line here. Just go ahead and add this back in real quick, and then go ahead and run this. You'll be able to, oh, I can't talk right now. You'll be able to see that both of these lists will have the same numbers in them, but in this case, we're only printing out the even numbers. So go ahead and run this again. And see, our bottom here is printing out everything, while our top is only printing out the even numbers. Tip number 9 has to do with a newer, I put that in quotes, you can't see it, but in quotes, newer keyword here, var or reserved word in Java. And that basically, it operates the same way that var operates in JavaScript. And you can kind of assign any kind of variable to it. So in this case, it's an integer. It could be a string, it could be a double, it could be a float. You get the picture here. Var can be used, and this will operate as we expect it to. So go ahead and run this. It'll just print out all the numbers here like we expect. However, this is not really a tip, more of a word of warning, is I would heavily avoid using var at any cost. It's newer, like I said, and a lot of enterprises are in Java like 8, for example, which doesn't have access to var. However, since you're not being very verbose, not being very explicit in what this variable is, or it could be, in this case, I am being explicit, but in this case, I could name it something like bird. Then we could print out bird. And if we do this, it's still going to operate the same exact way. However, now this could be a much more complicated code, and you might have no idea what kind of variable bird is. So I would highly recommend just steering clear of using var and using what you be very explicit in what kind of integer you're trying to use. Last tip I have here are variable arguments, and that's where you enter in whatever kind of variable you're looking for, followed by 3 dots. You do need the 3 dots here, and that could be, whatever you want. So in this case, we want a bunch of integers. And we don't know how many we're going to pass in. We could pass in 1, we could pass in 50. In this case, calling this method, I'm printing out, pretty much everything in this list, the 0 through 6 indexes. In this case, we'll go ahead and print out every one of those. So you say print something, we pass in the first argument, second, third, fourth, and again, you could have 1 argument, you could have 500. Who knows? So in this case, we'll go ahead and run this. And we go ahead and we print out everything as usual. And this integer could be, you could replace it as an integer array and pass in the whole array and loop through it, or a bunch of strings you want to pass into it, whatever you want. But yeah, that's how you'd pass in a unknown amount of arguments of a certain type. And that's it for this video. Hope you guys at least learned something or took something away, maybe a new idea here or there and how to approach a problem. Again, it's all kind of subjective tips. They're objective in that they work. They're subjective in that maybe you like them, maybe you don't. Maybe you're using some of them, maybe you're using none of them. Maybe you hate them, love them, or whatever. If I've missed something that you think should be included in this list, please go ahead and leave it in the comments. Help each other out. And if you're interested in learning more about the basics of Java, or you have someone you know who's interested in it, I do have a course in the description. Shameless self-plug, I know. But it's kind of akin to this video and where I cut away all the fluff and we get straight into it, while also trying to explain things without yapping too much like I'm doing right now. Go check that in the description. Leave a like if you want to, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. I don't know. I'm not your teacher. See ya.